A lot of talk on the Mavic Air 2's updates this week, but some of you may not know the Mavic Mini also got one of those updates, and it already had some of the functionality that was only just introduced to the Mavic Air 2. So a very quick video today on the new battery indicator for the Mavic Mini and also the advanced gimbal settings that the Mavic Mini already had. Hello, I'm Ian and I am playing with the Mavic Mini again today because, as I said, there was an awful lot of talk this week about the new zoom and various functions that were introduced to the Mavic Air 2. But the Mavic Mini did not get fully left out. One of the nicest features to be added to the Mavic Mini was the new battery indicator. And I just wanted to go through quickly as to what's been introduced and the hidden screen that you may not know about that actually gives an awful lot more information than you used to get. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I did a Mavic Mini zero battery test and showed you exactly what happens when you fly the Mavic Mini down to a zero battery. And I got a bit caught out towards the very end after it went into the critical landing mode, and I tried to overcome that. Eventually it went into total depletion mode and it just landed, and I ended up hunting around in the cornfield for it. But that won't happen today for two reasons. One, the field has been harvested, so there's not tons of wheat everywhere. And two, the battery indicator now has an awful lot more information that you can really make use of. First off, let's make sure you've actually got the latest Fly app. I'm talking about version 1.1.6. Go into your app store, check if there's an update, because that is the version you're going to need in order to see this feature. So one of my biggest criticisms about the old battery indicator was white numbers inside a white battery symbol at the top of the screen, which is normally white sky. So it's very hard to see how much battery you had left. Now they've changed it, they've introduced this nice new colourful indicator, and it very clearly shows you the remaining battery in coloured text, and crucially it's got a couple of extra little tricks up its sleeve. What you can actually do is tap the little indicator and it will then introduce 3 more countdowns. Now you can see the top one, until return to home. Now in this example at the moment it's showing 0000. Why is that? Well, that is because the Mavic Mini is currently flying less than 20 meters away from where I actually took off. And if it runs out of battery within 20 meters of its takeoff position, it'll just land. So what I'm actually going to do is fly it away. And you can see as soon as I get more than 20 meters away, bang, the return to home countdown kicks in. Now I've actually been flying this for the last 25 minutes. And here we go, we've now got the low battery kicking in and the return to home has kicked in. So again, in order to test this and show you exactly what the different countdowns mean, I'm going to cancel that return to home. Now just to remind you, if you don't cancel it, it will rise up to the pre-programmed return to home altitude. I've got that set at 30 meters or around 100 feet. But I actually want to cancel that in this particular case because I want to show you what the other countdown timers signify. So let's just get it back down near the ground. So like I said, you've got 3 countdown timers now. You've got the until return to home. That's fairly straightforward. It varies depending on how far away you are from your takeoff point. The further you are away, the more it's got to fly back, so it's going to constantly recalculate. Now the other 2 countdown timers are actually really useful to see, and this wasn't actually something that you used to see on the previous battery indicator. Until forced landing is the second countdown timer, and what that means is it's getting close to the critical battery and it is going to try and land no matter what. Now you can temporarily override this. You can actually change direction and you can lift the left stick to increase the altitude. But the moment you let go of that stick, the drone will continue to descend and it will ultimately land. Now you can only override that for a limited amount of time. Before then you've got this total battery depletion. And what that will actually do is it will force land no matter what, and you cannot override it and you cannot delay it. All you can do is try and fly forward a little bit, maybe change direction, but you will not be able to stop it from landing. So I'm just going to go through those 2 countdown timers now in real time with you. I'm going to bring it a bit closer to me. Don't want to go. Okay, so now it is trying to land. So now you've got the critical landing where it will, in 3, 2, 1, start descending. Now, as I said, you can temporarily override that. And you can see in this example that I've got another 50 seconds before it will override my override. So I'm raising up into the sky at the moment, and every time I let go, it drops. And every time I let go of the stick, it just drops down again. Now you can change direction, you can bring it closer to you. We've got 8 seconds left before it will not allow me to override that. 1 second, right, here we go. Now forced landing, and down it goes into the ground. Okay, this time I was actually looking at the drone, so I know exactly where it landed, unlike last time. But I just wanted to make clear to you the 3 different countdown timers and what they signify. The automatic return to home, as I said, is going to vary depending on how far you are away from your takeoff point. If you're a long way away, it's going to have a long journey back, so it will kick in that automatic return to home a little quicker. But the new critical landing indicator is a really useful addition to the battery indicator, because that is going to tell you exactly when the drone is going to start descending by itself. But as I said, you shouldn't be pushing the battery, but if you are, it's then also really useful to know exactly when you've absolutely got no juice left whatsoever. And that is what the total battery depletion, the final countdown timer, is telling you. And when that hits 0, you know that your drone is going to start descending and there's nothing you can do about it. So I always say don't push a battery, because that is when you start taking risks, and that's when you're most likely to lose your drone. But having this new information is a really useful tool. And one final thing, whilst the drone's safe on the ground, I said to you that the Mavic Mini already had some of the functionality that was introduced to the Mavic Air 2 this week, and that's namely the advanced gimbal settings. Now let me just quickly change battery, and I'll just show you the impact of what these settings do for you. So change the battery. As I said, there was another bit of functionality that was introduced to the Mavic Air 2 that the Mavic Mini already partially had, and basically that was the ability to adjust the smoothness of the camera pitch, moving the gimbal up and down. So just in case you weren't aware of that, go up into the top right, you've got the 3 dots, go to Control, then scroll down, and you've got Advanced Gimbal Settings. Now admittedly, unfortunately, with the Mavic Mini you don't get the other setting that was introduced to the Mavic Air 2 this week, namely the rotational yaw sensitivity, but you do have still one of the most important adjustments that you can make to smooth out your video, and that is namely the pitch speed, how fast the gimbal, the camera on the gimbal is moving up and down, and that is what pitch speed is. So you obviously want to have that set to a lower setting. Now I tend to have mine around 15 or so, and I'll just show you. If we whack it right up to 100, and then using obviously the gimbal wheel going down it goes, and up it goes. Pretty brutal and ugly. Then if you go back and adjust it right down to say 10, now full wheel lock, you can see it's a lot slower, and that will make a huge difference to the smoothness of the video you're taking. Now you saw there, when I let go of the wheel, the camera carried on rising up and came to a gradual stop. That's because of the second slider that I've got, which is namely the pitch smoothness. And the pitch smoothness is like a little buffer. It's basically how gently the movement starts and how gently the movement will stop. So whilst you want to have the pitch speed quite low, you want to have the pitch smoothness quite high, and that will give a very gentle start and a very gentle stop. Again, demonstrate it. If I take it right down to 0, the moment I let go, it stops dead, bang, which isn't very pretty. So now if I whack it right up to say 29 out of 30, again, now if I go full lockdown, see it starts off slowly, then speeds up, and when you let go, it carries on a little bit and comes to a gentle stop. And again, going up, you let go, and it comes to a gradual stop. Just a little reminder on how to hand catch if that's what you need to do. Hold your hand flat out, keep the left stick down, and just let it drop into your hand. No need to grab it. Anyway, look, I just wanted to make a quick video today because, like I said, I had a number of people get in touch kind of complaining that Mavic Air 2 was getting all the toys and the Mavic Mini was being left out. And I just wanted to point out, no, you've got the battery indicator, make use of it. It's a fantastic new addition. As I said, when you tap the little screen to pull up those 3 countdowns, that's really useful information that you can make use of to gauge how much flight time you've got left. And as for the pitch smoothness and the pitch speed, well, you already had that. And if you didn't know about it, make use of it, have a practice, because it's pretty much the best thing that is going to affect the smoothness of your video. Anyway, look, as ever, I hope you like these sorts of things. Give me a little thumbs up if you do, helps the cause. And if you haven't already, as ever, hit the sub, ding the dong, get notified each time I put something out. Either way, I hope you're staying safe and sane. And until next time, have fun and happy flying.